keep getting these weird ass ships. Hello everyone, my name is Dorian and welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I'm going to be doing the Rip It or Ship It book tag. This tag is actually like really old, it's a few years old, and I'm gonna go ahead and tag the original video down below. The original creator was Emma's Books, and I believe she and Xteenmay both did videos, which I will link, and I've always wanted to try this book tag out. Basically, what we're gonna do is I have put a list together of a lot of fictional characters and I put them into a random shuffler, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to shuffle it and pick out 2 characters, and they are going to be from multiple series and multiple genres, and what I'm going to do is when they both come out, I'm going to say who they are and what book they're from, and then we're either going to ship the 2 together or we're going to rip it because they would not be compatible. So without further ado, let's get into the video. So, starting out with round 1, here we go. So our first person in round 1 is going to be Emma from the Dark Artifices series by Cassandra Clare. Emma is a headstrong, independent, badass who doesn't take crap from anyone really, and she's a very loving, caring, and loyal person. So let's see who she gets matched up with. So the next person who is going to be matched up with Emma is Feyre from the A Court of Thorns and Roses series by Sarah J. Maas, and I have to say Feyre has a lot of the same qualities as Emma, I would say, in my opinion. She's very headstrong. She can be independent, but she also is dependent on others, which is also the same for Emma. She's very loyal. She's very badass. So I ship it. I would put Emma and Feyre together. I think they would make a good couple, if I'm being honest. I feel like they'd be the type of team who people would root for, but also get very easily frustrated with, because they would probably be the type of couple who one person would go off and do something to save the other while the other person's going off to do something completely opposite to save the other person, and then they would get mad at each other and it'd be this whole thing. But in the end, they would be loving and loyal, so I send it, it sails, and we're good. Alright, going into round 2. So the first person for round 2 is another one of Cassandra Clare's characters, Magnus Bane. Magnus Bane is one of my favorites. He is definitely one of my favorite fictional characters of all time. He is great. He's funny, he's charismatic, he can be serious, he's also very loyal, and he is very protective of the ones he loves. The second person we have who is going to be paired up with Magnus Bane is Harry Potter from Harry Potter by J.K. Rowling. I don't really know about this one. Harry is a very independent person, I feel like, and he kind of goes at things as a lone wolf, but then he always has his friends to fall back on, so, I don't really know. Magnus Bane and Harry Potter. They're both warlocks, so that's one thing they have in common. I hate to say it, but I'm gonna rip this one. I just can't. I can't. I just can't. I don't know why, but I feel like Magnus would try to get like all cute and cuddly sometimes, and then Harry would be like, bleh. So I'm gonna have to rip it. I do not ship at all Magnus and Harry. No. That ship is not setting sail. Moving on to round 3. So the first person we have from round 3 is Simon from the Imperium trilogy by Claire Legrand, and Simon is dark and broody, and he's very masculine. He's also kind of overprotective, but in like a low-key kind of way. So I'm gonna be interested to see who he gets paired up with. Oh, okay. Alright, so the person that Simon from Furyborn got matched with is Moore from A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. And I say I could see it. Moore is kind of a partier. She's very out there, and she's very self-confident, which is good for her, like perfect for her. Simon would be the one who's like standing in the background, just watching her do her thing. I feel like he would be kind of mortified by Moore, just how out there she is and how, like I said, self-confident she is in herself and in her body. She's very self-loving. She wears what she wants. She says what she wants. She does what she wants. She doesn't let anyone tell her what to do. And that's partly because of her relationships in the past. So I feel like Simon might be good for her, because I feel like Simon wouldn't say anything to her face about her actions. He would just kind of sit back and watch over her to make sure she's okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna ship it. I'm gonna sail the ship of Simon and Moore. I could see it. I could definitely see it. Alright, now we're on round 4, so let's see who we dig up next. The first person of the fourth couple is Kalorn from the Red Queen series by Victoria Aveyard. Oh god, I don't even remember Kalorn. I feel like Kalorn is very close to Gale from the Hunger Games, where he's kind of like in the background most of the time in my opinion, and he still cares for the main character, and he shows up and he comes out to protect her and be her friend and stuff and be supportive, but he kind of holds back and he's kind of just, like I said, in the background, so you don't really get to see him as much. I don't really know who he'd be good with, so let's see what we pull up. So we have Kalorn and the Darkling from Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo. Why do I keep getting these weird ass ships? I feel like the Darkling didn't really have much of a personality in my opinion. I read that series a long time ago, so it's kind of fuzzy, but the Darkling in my mind was just like this mean, cold, cruel being who just, he was a villain. He was an utter villain, and I didn't like him despite what he had been through in the past and despite everything he had gone through. He was an awful human being, slash Grisha, in my opinion. So no, I'm not putting him with Kalorn because Kalorn doesn't deserve that, so I'm ripping that. It's not happening. It is not sailing, and we're moving on. So round number 5. So we have another Red Queen character for round 5. Starting out, we have Evangeline from Red Queen, who is also very kind of cold, cruel, a little bit manipulative, but she also has her own stuff going on that we learn about, which kind of makes you sympathize with her, and she does end up kind of turning herself around and getting on the good side, so that's her, like, kind of redemption in my opinion. But like I have said before, I'm interested to see who she gets paired up with, because honestly, it's either gonna be a yes or just a solid no for Evangeline, because she did some stuff that was just unforgettable for me and made me not like her as much as I feel like I could have liked her with her whole redemption thing, so we'll see how it goes. Interesting. So we have Evangeline and Nina from Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. I could see it, honestly. Nina is also very self-confident. She's got the whole body positivity thing down, and she's also very calculated. Nina does what needs to be done in the best way possible, even if things go south. She still tries to kind of like pick up the pieces and salvage a plan that's already been ruined after the fact. So that's something I really like about her. I feel like Evangeline and Nina could become a real power couple together, and they could really take on some foes together and really conquer the world, in my opinion. They both have awesome freaking powers. They both have been through a lot, and I feel like they could both really have a journey together and go through a transformation together, if that makes any sense. Just kind of finding themselves more. I don't know. I ship it. I think I'm gonna ship it. Yes. I ship it. The ship has sailed. Nina and Evangeline, go forth and do your thing. So for round number 6, we have Cassian from A Court of Thorns and Roses, and Cassian is, what is Cassian? How to describe Cassian? If you know him, you probably know how I'm feeling right now. He's a bro, he's loyal, he's protective, he's also badass. He's got like kind of a snarky attitude, and he's very sarcastic, so I feel like those attributes of Cassian could pair very well with some of the people I have in my little shipping wheel, but at the same time, if he is paired with the wrong person, it's like, no, cut it. So we have Cassian and we have Alina from Shadow and Bone. I honestly feel like Alina has too much going on to like date. I don't know. So I know Alina has a love interest in Shadow and Bone and she ends up with Mal, but I feel like she's just doing too much to save her world to have time for dating. And I feel like honestly her and Cassian just wouldn't be a good mix, because I feel like Cassian would just get on her nerves and she would be like, you are so annoying and so distracting, please get out of my face. So I'm gonna have to rip it. It's not a thing in my mind. Alina just has so much more to worry about. Saving her world, after the fact saving her world, figuring out what the heck is gonna happen with the Grisha, all that jazz. She doesn't have time, and Cassian would just get in the way. He would just come in and be all snarky and like, sarcastic with her, and I feel like he'd be like trying to flirt and she'd just be like, shut up and leave me alone while I'm trying to figure all this crap out. I feel like he just wouldn't be helpful to her. I don't know. I don't ship it. I rip it. So for round 7, we have Julian from Caravel by Stephanie Garber. Julian's loyal, he's trustworthy, sort of. He's obviously an actor, if you've read the books. He's careful, he's protective, he's loving. I feel like he only belongs with Scarlet though, I don't know. Let me see who he gets. If he gets Scarlet, it'll be fine, but still. So for round 7, we have Julian from Caravel and Alec from The Mortal Instruments by Cassandra Clare. And right off the bat, I'm going to rip it down the middle because Alec is very broody. He's also very protective though, and he's very loyal, but I feel like if you put Julian and Alec in a room, they just wouldn't talk to each other. They would just go into separate corners and just chill. I don't know. I feel like they wouldn't even be friends, so I'm ripping it. That's not a thing. Going into round 8. So our first person in round 8 is Kaz from the Six of Crows series. Kaz is a crime boss, he's cunning, he's protective of his friends, he's very calculating, but he's also got some kind of faults, you know, he doesn't really show his emotion or let people in very much, which many people are like that, many characters are like that, but still. Our second person for round 8 is going to be Peeta from the Hunger Games series, and Peeta's soft in my opinion. He feels kind of one-dimensional to me. It's been a really long time since I read The Hunger Games, but I just remember not really liking his character, so I'm gonna rip it because I just don't see them together. I really don't. It would just be a bad idea. Going into round 9, we have our first person who is Jax from Caravel. Jax has to be honestly one of my favorite villains. He has a backstory, he has this cool ambiance or aura around him, he has an interesting personality. I wish that Stephanie Garber had explored him a little bit more in her last book. She did explore him a lot, but I feel like something was just missing about him, and I didn't really understand why he came to care so much about Donatella, Scarlet's sister. I just didn't really get that part of it, but I still thought it was a cool part of her story that she created. I liked the whole love thing that was going on between Donatella, Jax, and Legend, but I feel like Jax was explored a little more, and I feel like there's still something that he needs to say. But like I said, he's one of my favorite villains, so I'm excited to see who he gets paired with. So we have Jax from Caravel and Giza from Red Queen. Honestly, I kind of see it. Giza's the little sister of Mare. She's kind of timid, but she also has her own place amongst them all, and she has her own talents, her own individuality. I feel like she would be good for Jax because she has a kind heart, she has a kind soul, she's very, you know, loving, caring, loyal. I feel like Jax and Giza could really complement each other, and she would definitely help bring out the best in him, although he might end up bringing out the worst in her a little bit just because of how Jax is, but I could definitely see them together. I'm gonna go ahead and ship Jax and Giza. So our last round for today is going to be round 10. We have another Simon, and this one is Simon from The Mortal Instruments. Simon is one of my favorite characters. He's the best friend of Clary, and he is one of the most loyal people I have ever read about. He's one of the most loyal fictional characters I've ever known. And like I said about Giza, he has his own individuality. He has his own little knack for things. If you haven't read The Mortal Instruments, I'm gonna put a little picture in the corner because I'm about to say spoilers, so just mute it and then unmute it when the little picture disappears. So my favorite thing about Simon was when he made the transition from being a mundane to a shadow hunter, because I knew all along that he was supposed to be a shadow hunter, and when he stepped into those shoes, he really shone through. So that was what made him one of my favorite characters, was the whole journey he went on from being human, then being turned into a vampire, then like going back to human, and then finally making the transition into a shadow hunter, into the shadow world, to be with his best friend, his girlfriend, everybody he has come to be friends with and love. That's what stood out to me. Simon and Izzy are one of the ships that I feel like can't be changed. It'll be interesting to see who he gets paired with. So the last person picked out for the last round is Amren from A Court of Thorns and Roses, and I feel like this is another kind of Jax and Giza ship where Simon could be really good for Amren, but I feel like Amren could be really bad for Simon because she has her own stuff going on, and she also kind of has her own love story still developing, so that's kind of up in the air. But I feel like Simon's just set. He has Izzy, so I feel like Amren has her little love-hate thing with Varian going on in A Court of Thorns and Roses, and then Simon's just set. He's with Izzy, they have a future together, everything's gonna pan out, and even if they both broke up with their person or whatever, I still think that it would take both of them a long time to get back on dating or something. So I'm gonna rip it. I don't ship them together. I don't see it. So that's all I have for today. Honestly, like I said, I've been wanting to do this book tag for a really long time, and it was really fun. Maybe I'll do it again in the future. I don't know, probably not for a few years once more books come out and I can add different characters in and take old ones out. But I had fun with it. I really liked it. I hope you all liked it, and I hope you all will like this video and subscribe to my channel so you can keep seeing the content that I'm coming out with. And also, if you all want to go ahead, you can comment down below who your favorite and least favorite ships that I made were, and let me know what your thoughts were, who you would have shipped together I didn't ship them together and why, or who you wouldn't have shipped together that I shipped together and why not. But thanks so much for watching. I had so much fun with this, and I will see you all next time.